From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
A member of the White House Coronavirus Task Force talks to MTN. Coming up, find out what Holly Brantley learned about the new vaccines and what we all need to know to stay safe until everyone can be vaccinated.
Controversial lawsuit between the Gallatin County Health Department and the Rocking R Bar made its way to court Tuesday. I'm Annie Johnson with all the latest updates coming up.
It is 6:30 on this Wednesday. Chet Lehman, Matt Elwell with you here. Holly Brantley does have the day off. Still checking a little breezy out there.
Yeah.
The pine trees waving as the Christmas lights have come
every
on.
so often a little snow blows off the roof.
Yeah.
It's a nice day temperature-wise, but the wind is really making a difference. Right now into the 30s for most of the area, 19 degrees in West Yellowstone this morning. I don't think we're going to see much in the form of snow today. Really not a whole lot in the next couple of days. There's a slight chance we could see some minimal accumulation in a few of the valleys of southwest Montana on Thursday, but really to get through the day today, you just need a couple of extra layers with that wind back up in that 10 to 20 mile an hour range through the afternoon. That is going to set those mid 30 degree temperatures into the upper 20s. We're going to talk more about what you can expect, including the long-term forecast that's coming up out on the Billion Auto Group weather patio in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Matt. 6:31 now. Even as vaccines roll out, coronavirus cases continue to surge in the Treasure State, and health officials warn we can't let our guards down yet. Holly Brantley spoke one-on-one with a member of the White House Coronavirus Task Force about where we stand. Seema Verma also serves as administrator for Centers for Medicaid and Medicare Services. With more than 20 years' experience in public health, Verma shared insight about Montana's battle with COVID-19, vaccine distribution, and what we can do to stay healthy before the vaccines become widely available.
Everyone's deeply concerned. I mean, the cases are going up.
Coronavirus in Montana, already a critical situation in danger of becoming even worse.
And I know with the holiday season, you know, we all want to get together with our friends and families and parties and travel and all of that. But, you know, this year, I think we just have to recognize that that's just not necessarily the best thing to do at this time.
Seema Verma says we do have weapons at hand and we must take advantage of them now, wearing masks and practicing good hygiene. She says that will help Montana win the war against the virus.
I think the country is fatigued, quite frankly. It's, you know, the social distancing and wearing masks. That being said, you know, I think we all have to remain vigilant. We know that this virus is extremely contagious.
And now added ammo to our arsenal, vaccines from Pfizer and Moderna with efficacy rates upwards of 90%. She says when the vaccine begins rolling out, rest assured the task force has made sure our state will be provided with everything we need.
And literally they've gamed out each and every step of this, you know, where it's going to go, what the process is. You know, one thing that I learned with Operation Warp Speed is not only are they sending out the vaccine, but they're also sending it out with kits. So it has the gloves and it has all of the, you know, the needles and the syringe, everything that you need to actually administer the vaccine. So they've really thought this through with every single detail in mind.
I also asked Verma how a vaccine could best be distributed in our geographically large state, where storage and transportation are concerns. She says the task force has a plan.
Well, I can tell you that with Operation Warp Speed, we have the military involved in here, and they've literally gamed out every single step. We're working with the private sector around the distribution. I think that the Operation Warp Speed has contemplated the storage issues as well. When they mail out the vaccine, it's going to be in containers that will be able to maintain the appropriate temperature. So I think all of that's been contemplated. And, you know, I feel very comfortable with the plans that Operation Warp Speed has in place to get the vaccine out as quickly as possible. I would hope a year from now that we wouldn't need to have a coronavirus task force because we would be past it, that Americans would be immunized and we could go back to life as normal. I think there's a lot of lessons learned and there's going to be some long-term impacts, you know.
Now, Verma says we simply can't let our guards down. We do still have months to go before a vaccine will be ready for everyone. Besides wearing a mask, she urges every American, especially children and the elderly, to stay on top of doctor visits and other healthcare needs. She recommends taking advantage of telehealth services if you're afraid to venture out to see a doctor. Those services are widely available here in the Treasure State. In other headlines, Montana Veterans Administration healthcare system could receive its first doses of COVID-19 vaccine just in time for Christmas. Now, due to the rural nature of the state, the Montana VA will be receiving doses of the Moderna vaccine once it's approved by the FDA. That's hopefully coming later this week. First people vaccinated through the VA will be those in the intensive care unit, medical surgery unit, and the emergency department. Staff at the facility tell MTN they should be able to roll out the vaccine to VA-assisted care facilities at the same time as the rest of the community. VA says it's no secret the pandemic has been hard, but the vaccine news is a ray of light.
Well, one of the hardest things that we've had to deal with throughout the COVID times is fear and anxiety. With the vaccine, I'm hearing the words hopeful. I'm hearing terms that we see the light at the end of the tunnel.
I would say we're all very excited and hoping, since Moderna is the one that we will be getting, that it is approved and we do receive it early next week.
Now, those frontline workers getting the Pfizer vaccine are being asked to sit for 30 minutes as providers monitor for signs of an allergic reaction. Don't worry, the reaction does not have to do with allergies to food, pollen, or animals. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention changed course from a previous statement made on Sunday. They're now saying those who experience reactions to injectable drugs can get the vaccine, but there could still be some normal side effects, including pain, swelling, fever, and a headache. In court news this morning, a Bozeman bar arguing in court that COVID health restrictions violates the rights of the owner. TN's Annie Johnson covered a lawsuit between Gallatin City County Health Department and that popular local bar.
Today's hearing started after a lawsuit was filed 3 weeks ago by the Gallatin County Attorney and the Gallatin County Health Department against the Rocking R Bar.
All rise for this session. Honorable Judge Brianne Mackley presiding.
Good morning, everyone. Please be seated.
The hearing was the first time the lawsuit made its way to court since being filed. The county attorney and health department are asking the court to enforce local orders, making the R Bar close at 10 p.m.
Gives the health officer not only the authority, but gives the duty to take measures to protect the public from the spread of communicable disease, including through actions to close buildings.
County attorney called 4 witnesses in total to the stand to testify about the virus and how local orders are believed to slow down spreading, including 2 professors and the state health officer.
Expertise is in infectious disease dynamics.
That would seem to make you uniquely qualified for testifying about COVID-19 and this transmission.
Mike Hope lastly took the stand to testify why he stayed open past the curfew, which he said is because of economic reasons.
Most people laid people off. We never laid anybody off. We kept paying them, and the PPP did not cover our cost of our payroll. They were concerned how they were going to pay their rent, how they were going to pay their tuitions, and I'm proud to say we made a commitment to pay them.
No ruling has been made yet. In fact, the judge doesn't have to make a ruling today. Reporting in Bozeman, Annie Johnson, MTN News.
Now, that hearing did not wrap up yesterday. It will resume today. Both sides tell us they're hoping for rulings soon, but the judge can decide whether she wants to make one now or wait until a later date. In other court news, conservation groups filed a federal lawsuit challenging the latest decision to not treat wolverines as threatened in the Northern Rockies. Some scientists believe there are fewer than 300 wolverines left and are being hurt genetically because they cannot migrate across their historic range. Some of that blamed on road building and other winter activities, but also on climate change impacting the high country snow wolverines need. 4 years ago, U.S. District Court Judge Dana Christensen sided with the conservation groups, saying states should have done more scientific analysis to back up arguments the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service should have placed wolverines on the endangered species list in 2013. Now groups including the Alliance for the Wild Rockies and Wild Earth Guardians are filing a new federal suit, attempting to block the most recent decision by the Fish, Wildlife and Service, formally withdrawing the proposal to list the wolverine. 6:39 now. We're going to take a quick break here on Montana This Morning. When we come back, the president was irked about low-flow shower heads in hotels. Now he's getting rid of them. The elimination of a lot of water and energy use requirements coming up. But first, let's check in with our friends at CBS This Morning to see what's coming up at 7.
Good morning. Ahead on CBS This Morning, the unprecedented vaccine rollout continues all across the country, and the FDA could be just days away from authorizing a second vaccine. We'll talk with Dr. Anthony Fauci about the timeline for vaccinating America. Also, a CBS News investigation revealed new evidence of toxic exposure at a remote military base. Now, Acting Defense Secretary Christopher Miller says he's getting personally involved. You'll hear why in his first network TV interview. Also, country music power couple Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood talk with us about celebrating 15 years of marriage and their holiday concert special, airing right here on CBS. Seat 7.